Okay, so all right, welcome back to the stream, good soul. Welcome back to the stream. We're gonna be breaking down how to make the sound of, let's call it midnight soul. So that's gonna be the sound that you want to hear, maybe at 2 a.m. Something that you want to hear at night when you're cruising. Um, every sound designer should have a go-to nighttime sound, I think. So that pulse, that feeling when you're driving through the city at 2 a.m., you should have that sound. So today I'm building what I call uh, the Midnight Pulse. So I'm going to start from total silence in Reactor and let's design it. So let's jump right in. I've got my basic stuff here. So yeah, I've got my basic setup here, and I'm gonna be building it from scratch. So first we need a pulse. So I'm gonna start off with a sine wave. We've got a sine wave here. I'm gonna duplicate my oscillator, and we're gonna get a basic sound going in just about a few seconds. So that's oscillator. That's gonna be oscillator 2. That's gonna be oscillator 1. This is gonna be a sine. Second one's gonna be a triangle. So let's organize it like that. This one will be a triangle. And then I think we'll add a third oscillator. And we'll slightly detune it. So of course I'll make that a sine wave. Gonna add in the rest of the things we need. We do need a note in from our keyboard. Let's blend them together. And let's play it. Turn up the volume. So we got our basic sound going. Hopefully you can hear that. That's the basic sound of our oscillators just playing by themselves. I'm going to detune the last oscillator slightly. So that's oscillator 2 is a triangle. Oscillator 3 will make a sine and detune. Just so we get some we're getting some clashing waves, or you can call it some harmonics, or you can call it yeah. So that's creating like a heartbeat or emotional tone to the sound. Now we gotta make it breathe. So I'm gonna add an LFO, and I think I want to modulate that cutoff of the envelope. So we're gonna modulate the cutoff of the envelope around let's do 400 hertz. So let's go to our envelope. Go to around 400. I think that's okay. We're at 380, 408, 401. That's perfect. Turn on our modulation. And there we go. That's even more interesting. And then, so it's like pushing the air pressure and it's like moving. So that's good. So we can add a second one if we want to modulate the filter cutoff. But I'm gonna modulate the, let's do, that's the cutoff. Let's do the envelope of the filter. So I'm gonna add an envelope. To this. Let's duplicate this LFO. So we gotta find that that envelope we created, which is right here. This is the second LFO. It's best to keep track of things as you go, because if you don't, it sometimes gets out of hand or a little crazy. So this is the filter ADSR. Actually, let's route that to the amp. There we go. So that's that. We ended up with the results I did want. This is what we call the amp ADSR. And I do have an LFO attached to it. Okay, so that's our finished sound. Let's go ahead and save that. So we saved our sound there. Let's capture what we just recorded, what we just got. See if we can change that timing. Let's get our metronome on and re-record it. We'll do something with shorter hits as well. Okay, so got two different patterns. I think I'm going to stick with the second one. And we can hit that Command 4 to turn on and off our grid so we can nudge our notes. So it's a little early, so we're just going to move it back a little. Lengthen that note. A little early still. One more. It seems a little late. So the mic's just moving. Okay, so we've got it looped pretty well. And there we have it. We have our bass sound. We can layer that with some reverb. I think to give it some atmosphere, I'm going to add in some reverb. So let's go. Let's actually go into our patch and let's bring in some reverb. So I'm going to go to our patch here and I'm going to bring in some verb. Just going to go into the sound effects and that's going to be our reverb. So we got some reverb right here. Just going to put a splash of reverb on the end to bring our sound to life. I actually want some distortion on this too. A little more bite and a faster attack. Some distortion. So I'm not liking that so much. Okay, so I'm liking that. And yeah, so just like that, we've created a basic, or not basic, bass sound that we can use in our productions. Yeah, so hopefully learn something from this session, and you're able to build that midnight pulse slash bass feeling, that pulse feeling. So we're able to build that out using 3 oscillators, LFO, filter, and a VCA. And we can control that pulse intensity with an LFO, the filter cutoff, and using some reverb on the end to really tie it all together to create that full cinematic motion. So I'll see you in the next live stream. Keep sound designing, and don't forget to check the links in the description for a full sound design deep dive. I'll see you in the next live stream. Peace out. Keep sound designing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the build. I'm just going to, if you'd like to stick around, I'm just going to be adding a little loop on the end of this to demonstrate what we can do with our sounds, our raw sounds. So let's bring in some drums. Then we're going to make sure we get a groove going. Let's make sure this loops correctly. Oh, there we go. We got an extra piece on the end. That's why we weren't looping. There we go. Let's start with the chords. Let's get a melodic contour going. Copy. We're going to check our key. So we're in A minor. So we're going to bring in some chords. Check my key again. Kind of forgot. A minor, yep. Let's just listen again. I don't want to hear this. I just want to listen. Let's change the sound. Not really liking that sound. Let's try some freehand chords. There we go. Let's try another sound. I don't like that either. So, just trying some things out. Just gonna copy the MIDI down. I like some parts, but not others. So, let's bring it down here. Go here. Let's try it out. I think we're in the wrong key. Let's double check. C minor, okay. Okay, that sounds a little better. Just trying to just etching out a chord progression as we go. Now, we can always fix the velocities of his notes later. So I'm going to scrap that one. And we're going to keep it as this loop. Hopefully that gets the point across, if you can turn to anything. All right, I'll see you in the next live stream. Peace out.